Aloha, friends and neighbors. Rollin Frost here, Kona astrologer. This is the way I looked 30 years ago, or more. I was on Kauai then. Aniki chased me off Kauai, and here I am in Kona. And here Pele is acting up. Great fun. We're going to do show 1124. 1,124 weeks I've served you with knowledge about what's going on in the sky, what may come up for you. So we're going over the sky mirror first, cover the third week in June 2018, and then I got some interesting things to share with you about some stuff that kind of unseen. I've always specialized in the unseen things in our world. So you're going to get a boot after this. We're going to get into what psychics are all about. Okay? So here's our chart. Hey, my voice is almost back to normal, huh? 2 years of Roundup pollution, a year of recovery. Oh boy. Noticeable, these two planets are large size. The reason is because when a planet slows down and stops and reverses direction, it just floods your consciousness. And Neptune is doing that on the 18th of June. Yes, early next week. Is that Monday for you? So, this is a big deal when Neptune stops. Interesting enough, Mars, also the Energizer, slows down and stops and goes retrograde on June 26th. Hence, he's kind of drawn large. But we're going to talk about Neptune today. Because I call him, it's been a long road for me to understand this planet. And finally decided he's kind of a malefic. And a lot of people would argue with that. But read Bertrand Russell, Why I'm Not a Christian. So the way I view it, Neptune is Pisces. Uranus is what scares Neptune. The scientist, the astrologer, common sense, rational thinking. Science, yes, does something bang, and it throws the church totally into disarray. So Neptune has had its way here for the last 2,000 years, the age of Pisces. It's changed now. We're in the age of Aquarius. Uranus is going to rule. But these Neptune folks, they don't give up easy. These priest, artists, doctor, musicians. Just look at the doctor stuff on your TV. That's Neptune. Anyway, I got more to say on this, but let's go after the sky mirror first. I want to find out what's coming up for you day by day. Something useful you can count on, okay? And here, if you're on the Thursday night show, June 14th, the moon is in Cancer. And it's gone by Mercury. And it's making a trine to Neptune and a trine to Jupiter. Oh boy. Beautiful. Music, enlightenment, truth, wisdom coming out. And you can talk it and write it down. Write some poetry, write a song. Thursday afternoon and evening. The planets are with you. Right up until you get to about 2 o'clock in the morning. Friday morning, the 15th. Here is the opposition to Pluto. And, yeah, it's tough. Eek, a bug, panic. Well, we had a wonderful concert. The music was inspiring and religious. And then at 2 in the morning, the police broke in, and that's what it feels like. So, take your goodies early, and, don't wait up for the Pluto, eek, a bug feeling. Friday morning will be a little jittery because of it, which continues right through Friday night when there's a square to Uranus. And there's battery problems and jitteriness and a feeling of aloneness. Yeah, Friday night. Don't count on those batteries. Things are not what they seem. Not a real good night, Friday. But look here, Saturday morning, here's Venus. It actually comes in Friday night. Let's see. Venus starts there. This is actually 10, 11 o'clock Friday night. The moon's going to hit Venus. And she'll take away your jitters and you're feeling of aloneness, be with somebody you love Friday. Friday is Venus's day, Freya. Vendredi in French. Venus, Vendra. So it's a nice time. Just don't count on the electrical supplies. They're not going to come through. Saturday, everybody's feeling very nurturing. The moon goes by the north node Saturday morning, and we're taking care of everybody. It sours out a little bit when you get to the middle of the day and the early afternoon when the moon opposes Mars. There's some selfish people out there trying to grab everything they can. And those young men are too loud. They're out of hand. So you're not going to like Mars too much. Saturday night is a square to Jupiter, overdoing it. So what is this, too much sports? Seems that between the doctor's drugs stuff and the sports and, what else is there on TV? It's Saturday night. The moon's in Leo, and, you're overdoing it and getting angry Saturday won't do any good. On Sunday, it starts to mellow out, but until you get to almost dinner time, here's a nice sextile to the sun. I got a plan Sunday night, the 17th. Hooray! Well, you make a plan. And it includes the technical side. Monday morning, the moon trines Uranus. So here's good, solid, intellectual thinking Sunday night, Monday morning. And here's a trine to Saturn. It's practical, too. So this looks like pretty good planning to me, Monday. Moon in Virgo, trining Saturn. Get the details organized. Monday night, here's a sextile to Jupiter. And when is that? Right there. That's about 9-10 o'clock Monday night, the 18th. Wisdom. Jupiter is like the lawyer professor, and lightning bolts of truth come along. But wait, what's this? Here's the opposition to Neptune. It's Tuesday morning, 1 2 o'clock in the morning. And Neptune is stopping in the sky on the 18th, right here. Hey, this is dangerous. There's going to be water problems. There's going to be boats sunk and rivers overflowing and chemicals awry and this fishy stuff. Neptune has to do with liquids, has to do with fish, has to do with PhDs and drunks. And was it Ben Franklin said, he's all the drunks outlive the doctors. Anyway, Neptune thinks he's real special. That's what goes on. The government gave me a license to dispense pills. And when I trust the drug companies, and then a month later, there's a TV ad. Did you take this? The lawyers are going to help. And this is, you're going to see a lot of fishy stuff along here. When the moon opposes Neptune, you're not going to like what the Pope said, or the priests, or the doctors, or the special people, the movie stars. Neptune likes to dress up. Whether he's the Pope or the movie star. Jewels and furs and, dress up time, yeah? Sparkly jewels. I'm special. Well, it's not going to go very far Monday night, Tuesday morning. No. Nobody's very happy with that. Tone it down, Neptune. So, you have a bad smell? Monday night, check it out. Your nose is defensive. It only smells for a few minutes. Then it zones them out and looks for a new smell. So you got to trace down the bad smells Monday night, Tuesday morning. And you can do it. Here's a nice trine to Pluto before lunch on Tuesday the 19th. Sherlock Holmes was there, right on Johnny on the spot. Tuesday night, the moon squares the sun. You didn't get too much done late in the night. But the moon shifts in to Libra on Wednesday. It's a different vibe altogether. Here's your stuck. The moon squares Saturn before lunch. Slow Wednesday morning till you get past the stuck point. And then look at there. What's that? That's Mars and Venus. Aha. Mars and Venus together. They're opposing each other, but right here they're in harmony. The couples are walking around, Romeo and Juliet holding hands. Very romantic, very sexy Wednesday night, the 20th. And get home early, because here's a square to Mercury Thursday morning on the 21st. Hard to move around. And in the middle of the day, Thursday, there's a square to Pluto, and we can't control things. And there might even be sirens around. I don't know. Here on Friday, the moon finally shifts into Scorpio. And all the vibes change. It's much better. It starts out, though, with the opposition to Uranus, electrical problems. Who cares about science? Moon opposing Uranus. Ah, well, we're used to it by now, all us scientists. Here's the moon trining the sun Thursday afternoon. You can get some real planning done. Get your projects going. Because on Saturday, well, first of all, Saturday morning, the moon squares at Mars and Venus. And that young romantic couple that were so hot together on Wednesday, they're going to fight here on Friday night, Saturday morning. So look out, Romeo and Juliet, don't go out with that person. Stay home. You'll be happier. The moon's going to go by Jupiter here Saturday about lunchtime, and it trines Neptune. And you can get along with some of the Neptune stuff that's going on. I believe in the movies. I like the smell of Roundup. Anyway, new information comes out. Here's Jupiter's lawyers and professors, and as long as they're functioning under a law that says, oh, your body can tolerate a little bit of lead. Not true. Zero tolerance. Little kids. Every molecule of lead lowers their IQ. But we got these ideas in these institutions. The lawyers help enforce them. The doctors and the drug companies and the oil companies take advantage of it. Saturday, you shall see. Pluto will sleuth out. Here's Sherlock Holmes late Saturday night. He says, hey, what's going on there? Oh, look at that. You might be amazed at what comes up Saturday night. Moon in Scorpio continues through Sunday till after dinner time, and the moon shifts into Sagittarius. And that's the way it is for that week, June 15th to June 24th. According to my calculations, you had lunations with Neptune, worried over fog and sulfur dioxide, and on June 6th, with lunation got you back to worrying, thinking about Pluto, just plain volcano, not so much chemical stuff. So I hope that's true. I want to talk about Neptune. I've developed a dislike for him. I look at history. What do I see? I did Jesus chart. He comes up as an Aquarian. What happened? Well, the priest killed him. Neptune got him. Yeah. And got Galileo. I mean, these guys, Neptune has fought a battle for 2,000 years. Same in the Mayan culture. The Chinese almost lost their arts of astrology. So, 2,000 years of being out of favor because these guys, these Neptune characters, said, we're special, we're the only ones who can talk to God. Look out. Okay, so what I want to talk about today is not so much the sulfur dioxide, but telepathy. And this got kind of important. I just did a chart for a lady I hadn't seen for 10 years, and she had a list of questions. And some of the questions were about things that I never covered at all, that clearly came from some card reader or psychic or a crystal ball person who would make a pronouncement like, 3 people are going to die in the near future. Or, they stopped doing her reading at age 80. Does that mean she's going to die at 80? And the lady had all kinds of things. She thought I had said some of these things, and I never do. I don't talk about these things. It's not even my vocabulary. But she had me mixed up with a bunch of psychics and readers. Now, what's happening here is that these people are pure Neptune. And they think they're very special. They had angels on their shoulders, and they can read the person's past and the person's future. Well, the future's where they hang it up. Okay, so some explanation is in order. But, doctors, artists, priests, musicians, all these people, they're into that. Here you go. Your brain has 3 parts. We call it the human brain. Up on top thinks in words. Then underneath it is the mammal brain, size of your fist. The mammals all have this brain. This is the one that is telepathic, but it doesn't work in words, only pictures and emotions. But it's fully, a policeman can recognize one face out of 10,000. Half of your brain is recognizing faces. That's the mammal brain. Then underneath it all is a little bulb in the spine. That's your reptile brain. This does all the things the reptiles do, flight or fight. The mammals, we take care of the babies. A big evolutionary step past the reptiles. So this is where the telepathy comes from. It's essentially a defense mechanism. The little rabbit feels scared, turns around, there's a fox looking at it. The mammal brain did it. The mammal brain picked up the picture of the rabbit from the fox's brain. So this is what these people are doing. Some of them are very tricky. Like I remember the guy on TV who talks to your dead relatives, and he'd say, oh, there's a guy with a pipe upside down, and some lady would say, oh, that's my Uncle John. You say, okay, well, he's just reading her mammal brain and getting the pictures of Uncle John with his pipe, and he can describe them very well, beautifully. Once you learn that telepathy trick, works good with little babies and kids, dogs and cats. Some people are better at it than others, okay? Women are better at it than men. Practice with babies. People who like dogs and cats are better at it. Certain races of people, the blue-eyed, green-eyed Scandinavians, very telepathic. Hitler decided that Aryans were specially gifted. It was just telepathy. Some of the more equatorial races had no need to communicate with telepathy. They could do it with drums or this or that, and they weren't limited by a hostile environment. They didn't quite develop so much telepathy. But the Eskimo sitting in his hut, he gets pictures of his brother up there a mile attacked by wolves. It's telepathy. He trusts it. He goes out there, chases off the wolves, saves his brother. Okay? That's where this thing comes from. So, there's no words here. When you get used to using telepathy, you won't find any words, emotions, and pictures. Military got into it. They did remote viewing. Remember that? That was a big thing. And it worked fairly fair, anyway. Fair. So, facial expressions. Babies copy their mother's faces. They develop their mammal brain the first 2-3 years. Facial recognition software. That's where that all comes from. So this defense mechanism works really well. Some are better at it than others. The Rhine Institute developed the Zener cards. Remember these? To test it. I had plenty of my own teachings. An amazing Hawaiian man named Wong took me under his wing. And spearfishing, and Wong was a total waterman. Couldn't read or write. High IQ. I said, I never hit the fish. Wong said, that's because you're looking at him. As you come up to you see the fish you want, you look away. You cruise up next. You look away. You don't look directly at him. You get right up, snap. You got him. Because if you look at him, the fish gets a picture of himself from your telepathy brain. He knows you're looking at him. He'll jump out of the way of the spear. So I tried it. And I just bagged so many fish. Yeah. I got used to telepathy. That's the way ghosts function, is telepathy. And one story is extraordinary. Well, here's another good test. I had a great dog, and I was training a bunch of young guys about telepathy. And I'd say, look, you tell this dog to sit. Say the dog's name, sit, the command. Dog was well trained. The dog would just look at him and ignore the word. And then I'd say to the youngster, this time you tell the dog sit, and you make a picture in your own mind of the dog's rump hitting the floor. You see that dog sitting as you say sit. Son of a gun, the dog immediately sits. What does that prove, Frost? Well, it proves the dog is using telepathy. It was picking up the pictures in your head, not the words. When you understand this, you get into all kind of weird things. Like, I've got a problem with my cats. I go out around the corner to feed some feral cats, and my cat sneaks along behind me and tracks me and goes all the way down. I'm trying to keep my cat off the street. So, I'd be ready to leave with a bag of cat food, and I'd look at my cat, Alima, and say, now you stay here. You can't go out with me on my walk. Son of a gun, that cat followed me all the way. How come? Because I transmitted the picture of the cat following me on my walk. That's what the cat picked up and thought I was saying, follow me. And so he did. So it was the picture. It backfired. I could say, don't do this. You could say to a little baby, don't put your hand in that hot thing. And you get a picture of the baby's hand going in there. Then the baby isn't listening to the words, gets the picture, the hand goes in the hot things. Look out. So it's the pictures that people pick up with telepathy, okay? Very important. Now, here's a weird story. I was in Honolulu. There were two psychics. One was my good friend, Monique Bernadette. Highly trained, 3 generations of ladies. Very telepathic. Helped a lot of people. Great counselor. And then there was Lon. Lon, I think, was Filipino or Korean or something. She was so good, she packed them in her office. You get into Lon's office, there'd be 6, 7 people sitting in there waiting, ready to pay $100. So, once I traded Lon a chart for a reading, she amazed me. She loved the chart I did. No telepathy there. But I went in to see her, and she described my ex-wife perfectly. And then she says to me, oh, you want to buy the house? Well, she was right. I was really thinking I wanted to buy this house on Diamond Head. I was in it. I was renting it. Block Doctor was going to sell it. I thought maybe I'd get it for $120,000. I was just hoping. And I said, yes, Lon, I want to buy the house. Will I get the house? She said, yes. I said, how much? She said, $120,000. Ha ha ha. I couldn't get the house. Went for $200,000. She was wrong about the future totally. So I tried to tell Monique about this. That, Monique, you're really good at the past and the present. And imagine that you have a highly intelligent dog walking alongside you. It sees everything you do, records everything in stereo color, and you can talk to a person's dog brain. That's what the mammal brain is. And so the psychic says to the client that checks in with the dog brain, what did she do yesterday? Oh, she stubbed her toe. It hurt her. And the psychic says, oh, you stubbed your toe yesterday. It really hurt. Oh, amazing. Amazing, amazing. You must be a psychic. What's going to happen tomorrow? The psychic checks in with the dog brain. The dog brain says, we're going to have bacon for breakfast. There's no bacon for breakfast. The dog brain was just guessing and hoping. So the future is a very different matter for a telepath. Once they realize it's telepathy and they don't have angels and magical powers, it all straightens out. Okay, the end of this story is Monique wants to open a school for psychics. She's given a second floor corner in the Kahala Hilton Hotel. And she said, oh, great, this will work good. And then she walks around the corner, there's Lon's office. Holy cow. She calls me up, what should I do? I said, you can't move in there next to Lon. Go ask her. Go ask Lon what she thinks. Oh, I'm scared. But she went. She marched into Lon's office, said, I'm Monique Bernadette. Lon says, I know who you are. Well, I'm thinking about opening my school for psychics right around the corner on the same floor. Lon says, no, I don't like that. Don't do that. You'll steal all my clients. Besides, she says, you're going to die soon. Die soon? The best psychic. So Monique runs out of there, goes home, cries, calls me up that night and tells me the story. And I said, damn, Monique, You think you're going to die soon. What happened? Oh, nobody knows. A big secret. A doctor found a lump the size of a fist in my belly. Nobody knows this. How did you know? I said, well, your dog brain is shouting it. And Lon just picked it up and gave it back to you. Well, Monique almost had a heart attack when Lon told her she was going to die. She didn't die. In a month, the lump went away. I worked her chart. It was a lunation on her moon. But what happened here? Was this Lon's fault? Was this Monique's fault? These two psychics really got in trouble over something that wasn't real. They can't do the future. They can do the past. I could tell Monique, hey, check out my number 4 son. Where is he? She'd get into her psychic trip. Oh, he's on a beach. I can hear sand around him. I can feel it. She was really good, but can't do the future. Telepathy also, Carl Jung looked into it. It works. And at the Rhine Institute, they had guys that were so good at it, they said, okay, we'll test it. We'll put one man here and another guy in Europe. Put 4,000 miles between them. Telepathy still worked instantaneously. Put a person on the other side of the earth. Run the cards, the Zener cards. It works. There's no distance barrier, and there was no time. It was instantaneous. So whatever is carrying the telepathic information, it doesn't slow it down. Rhine Institute. There's your cards. I made up a set just to play with. But telepathy works. Don't pay a psychic for the future. You need an astrologer to do the future, and it's hard work. Do you know your rising sign? If you don't, get your birth data, call, and go to rollinfrost@yahoo.com and put in your birth data, and I'll calculate and give you your rising sign. Very useful information. Once you know your rising sign, you know what that body's about, who you are in this incarnation. You can figure out where Saturn's moving, where you're slowing down. You can figure out where Jupiter's moving, where your openings are happening. So a great advantage to learning your rising sign. Astrology suffered so much, that people believe in sun sign astrology because a few ladies made money off of these newspaper columns. It doesn't work. The sun is the father in your chart, your character, but not you. You are the rising sign. Okay? I might not be here in a year or two. Use me. Go to my website, skymareastrology.com/TV. Order a chart.